Greetings, gamers everywhere. A very sick Swippy92 here talking about. Yeah, I'm back a little bit here because I've been sick for a few days, but I'm back with not so good news. Well, not good news for those who are impacted, at least, which I technically am, because this actually brings back memories of a video I did a little over 2 years ago, actually, even. Not almost 2 years ago, it's over 2 years ago. It was a question on the game Contraband about where the game was. Where is the game? Where is it? Well, right now? Well, it seems to have stopped. It's on hold, in quote marks. Let's check this out because we're gonna dive into this and then we're gonna go down a rabbit hole. Let's start with Contraband. Microsoft has stopped active development on one of its most enigmatic upcoming Xbox and PC games. They externally developed Contraband. Sweden-based Avalanche Studios, who developed Just Cause, among others, had been developing the game with Microsoft Xbox team publishing. The Contraband was announced via cinematic trailer during Microsoft's E3 2021 online showcase. And Microsoft declined to provide a comment on the game's fate, but a source familiar with the matter noted that production, which is now on hold, has been ongoing for 5 years and the company avoids cancellation as much as possible. And yeah, this is, well, let's put it this way. They have barely spoken about anything on the game, and they haven't shown anything on the game since launch. And how can I be certain of that? Well, not only the Contraband website, which isn't updated, it also have the Contraband Discord server, which is, well, silent and nothing. Announcement is just there. It's nothing. Oh, and yes, the Contraband video, the trailer on Xbox official YouTube channel has been set to private. This video is private. Well, of course it is. Okay, that's weird. Anyway, in a statement on their website, Avalanche stated that, quote, active development has now stopped while we evaluate the project's future, unquote. The studio also noted that, quote, we're thankful for the excitement we've seen from the community since we announced and we'll give an update on what's next as soon as we can. This is very loose, I would say, in information, but moving on here. Microsoft implemented significant cuts in its gaming teams in early July as part of the company's overall workforce reduction of 4% of its employees, or about 9,000 jobs. Layoffs specifically on the Xbox team, including big cuts at Forza Studio Turn 10 and the closure of the studio The Initiative, who worked on the Perfect Dark game. Less widely reported at the time were cuts in Xbox Publishing Division, a group that worked with outside development studios to supplement Microsoft's internally developed games with projects made by partners. Such games have included Interior Nights as Dusk Falls and Don't Nods Tell Me Why. Two game file sources said that team has been significantly impacted with multiple producers cut and its longtime leader Peter Weiss also exiting the company. Microsoft still has plans to publish games from Kojima Productions, the OD game, Platinum, and Koei Tecmo. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Sorry about that. Butchered that completely. Ninja Gaiden 4 and Asobo Fight Simulator, according to a source familiar with the matter. Microsoft Game Studios chief Matt Booty said in an internal memo that the gaming group would wind down several unannounced projects across our portfolio. In his uh, July memo, Booty said Microsoft still had more than 40 games in development. The company's recent June showcase featured many upcoming games, though some long-awaited titles, including a new Fable, are still not expected until at least 2026. Last week, Microsoft said gaming revenue was up 10% to 5.5 billion for the April to June quarter compared to a year ago. But Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood said that gaming revenue is likely to decline in the mid to high single digits for July-September compared to a year ago due to strong performance in that summer 2024 quarter. Well, why was this strong? Because you released a bunch of new games that summer? Maybe? Who knows? Well, all this just says to me, I don't want to sound like an anti-capitalist asshole or something, but seriously, I think you need to reduce the income for your top executives and all that. Now, Xbox says all the games shown in the 2025 showcase are still coming, but why should we believe them? This past week has been a bloodbath for the upcoming Xbox catalog, making it hard to take promises at face value. In mid-June, the Xbox Games Showcase highlighted the newest slate of Xbox titles that was widely celebrated by the community. Now, the fates of some of those games hang in the balance after previously announced titles were abruptly cancelled as Microsoft cuts costs to bolster its investment in AI. We'll get into that in a while. Microsoft insists all recently revealed games are safe from the shopping block, including titles from Obsidian like The Outer Worlds 2, Clockwork Revolution, and Grounded 2. Now, Grounded 2 is already released in early access, but that can change. Now, or I should mention that this article is about a month old, published on July 7th. Double Fine's Keeper and Black Ops 7 are also in that lot, though even Call of Duty's teams weren't safe from Microsoft's hatchet. The most recent wave of layoffs brutally slashed by the company workforce by approximately 9,000 employees, adding to a recent layoff spree in May that wiped out an additional 6,000 jobs. Microsoft's homegrown studio The Initiative was shut down in the bloodbath. The studio closure brought the cancellation of the reboot of Perfect Dark, which was in production with assistance from Crystal Dynamics. And that game was revealed in 2020, and I don't think we've seen anything from that one, not recently at least. They right here, but it has mostly been silent since a gameplay trailer dropped in 2022. Despite slow development, all the cards were on the table for Perfect Dark to revive the beloved franchise and add a new tentpole to the Xbox lineup. That didn't happen, as we understand. Forza Motorsport has historically been one of Xbox's big three franchises alongside Halo and Gears. While the Forza Horizon series remains untouched, seeing Motorsport get the chop after serving as such an important franchise is alarming. At the very least, the Motorsport cancellation should drill into us all that there are no sacred cows at Microsoft. And considering what we've seen, I have to agree with that. Now, Call of Duty Studios' Raven Software, High Moon, and Sledgehammer games also took a beating with layoffs, even as Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is eyeing a fall 2025 release. Microsoft acquired Call of Duty blah 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 from Blizzard, blah blah blah. Yeah. Now, Call of Duty Warzone, the free-to-play battle royale, has struggled throughout late 2024 and early 2025 due to ongoing battles with the proprietary anti-cheat system and player dissatisfaction with the state of the game. There were rumors that if the return of Verdansk to Warzone 2.0 would fail to boost player engagement with the game, we may not see a future with Warzone 3.0. And honestly, that's kind of crazy to hear because, as far as I know, Call of Duty Warzone is a moneymaker. Now, of course, they have their struggles, ups and downs. Every live action or live service game, I mean, have ups and downs, especially one with a very, shall I say, narrow focus like Call of Duty Warzone. It's a very first person shooter and battle royale. Not for me. Here it says Call of Duty brings in billions of dollars in revenue annually and is a major blockbuster franchise, but even its future looks bleak with Microsoft freely cutting into the teams that manage to just barely keep running as it is. When I say Call of Duty, I'm guessing they mean the franchise in all, the game sales, the microtransactions, and all that. So, yeah, it's crazy to see why they would downscale that, but mm, I mean, is that crazy? I don't know. Maybe not. Xbox studio Rare, another team absolutely cloaked in nostalgia, also felt the sting of layoffs and lost big names from its studio leadership in the process. Rare's previously revealed Everwild, one of the most anticipated upcoming Xbox games, were among the debris on the cutting room floor. While Rare may continue to be propped up for a little while by the success of Sea of Thieves, it's truly difficult to gauge just how much longer the aging open-world pirate adventure can keep the studio afloat. Yeah, I have to agree on that. Sea of Thieves is a good game. I have no issue with the game. It's not really for me when it comes to the PvP, all that. But I've had my fun with the high seas and safe seas mode. Let's go into this investment of AI thing they talk about. Report. Microsoft's 2025 layoffs revolve around its desperate 80 billion AI infrastructure investment. This is from July 4th this year, 2025. But of course, this is just a report. There's nothing confirmed as I understand, so take it with a pinch of salt. Or maybe a bucket of salt, I don't know. Anyway, the Redmond giant has laid off over 15,000 people in 25. Could be even more if we go by the less widely reported at the time were cuts in Xbox publishing division. Who knows? And a report claims it's all in the name of freeing up spending money to invest more heavily in AI infrastructure to keep pace with the ever-growing AI bubble. According to a report from the Seattle Times, Microsoft is moving to reduce headcount to free up more capital for AI spending. Specifically, the company is looking to invest more money in AI infrastructure and technologies and is making various cuts across many organizations and divisions to fund these efforts. Microsoft push into AI doesn't mean the company is replacing workers with the technology. Rather, the significant cost of building out the infrastructure over multiple years has Microsoft looking to trim costs where it can. Okay, again, I don't want to say like an anti-capitalist asshole, but trim costs where it can. So making 15,000 people lose their jobs is cutting costs where they can. Not giving out, stop giving out $1 million in like Oh, we did so good this year. Let's give the top people in our company $1 million extra this month, kind of thing. I don't know if they done that this time, of course, but they have done so in the past. Many companies do that, and it's their right to do that, of course. It's their money, it's their win. Do whatever you want with it. It's just don't fire people after doing that. Don't increase your pay by $500,000 and then kick, give 10,000 people like the boot. It's just, why did they have to go? Well, the money. It's expensive to keep people here. Uh-huh. I mean, I understand wanting to use AI because it's cheaper, of course, but God, I hope uh, it's gonna be tough to it's gonna be tough for Microsoft to come back with a actually, shall we say, positive view from the public after all this. At least I think so. That's what I think. Anyway, moving on here. That said, a chunk of the roles Microsoft has laid off in recent months were roles that could be aided by AI technology. The company has invested heavily in AI technology that can debug and write code. And here it also says reportedly planning to make AI use mandatory. I'm not going to go into that rabbit hole because we would be here forever. And I don't have the strength to do that just now. Anyway, Microsoft has announced that it intends to spend $80 billion on AI infrastructure in the coming year to keep pace with the rest of the AI bubble. This is 25 billion over the previous fiscal year. In recent weeks, reports have suggested that Microsoft and OpenAI's multi-billion-dollar partnership has become strained, as both companies seek different things. Now, I am a little bit interested in knowing what things they are, like what different things they are like seeking here, but $25 billion more than previous fiscal year. That's a lot more money. Now, my question is, what do they do with that? What do a AI company do with $80 billion? What could they do in a year with that amount of money? That's $80 billion. It's a lot. Lots of money. What can they do with that? It's a crazy amount of money. What can you really do with that? Because I mean, they can certainly boost their hardware, but boosting their hardware from last year's hardware to this year's hardware, isn't that just gonna like almost erase what they did last year compared to, because you have to like move all the codes and assets and all that to the new? Isn't that just gonna, if you have to do that every year, that would just, you would never get done. You would have to use a lot of time upgrading, buying new stuff, and migrating it over to the new stuff. I mean, I don't know if it's that hard, but it sounds like a lot of work for very little reward. Anyway, it should be clear to anyone following Microsoft closely that the company has become AI crazed in the last 2 years. Since 2023, Microsoft has rushed to implement AI technology in as many products and services as it can, regardless of whether that technology is ready for mainstream use. If it's not really ready for mainstream use, yeah, what's the point of releasing it? The recent layoff amassing over 15,000 people come as Microsoft signs off one of its best year ever financially. The company has soared ahead of Apple in market cap and is trailing Nvidia as most valuable company in the world. Investing heavily in AI infrastructure and products at the cost of everything else is proving popular amongst shareholders. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer told employees that despite layoffs, the Xbox platform, hardware, and game roadmap has never looked stronger. Well, that might look strong. Your company doesn't. Just out of my personal view there. Sorry. Microsoft scrapped two in-development game projects as part of its most recent wave of layoffs, all to make room for more AI infrastructure, it seems. Ultimately, the recent layoffs have left a foul taste in a lot of people's mouths. And it's just not Microsoft, though it appears to have laid off a considerable amount in 2025 alone. Layoffs have hit everyone from Meta to Amazon, impacting over 50,000 jobs in tech across hundreds of companies, many of which are reporting record profits. And as we know, Meta is, or rather, the head of Meta, which just escaped my mind here, Zuckerberg. He's also a little bit AI crazed, and it's going very slowly for him too. Now, as for Amazon and Bezos, I don't know. How AI crazed are they? I don't know. They're definitely interested in it. I mean, it's Amazon. They want to make money. They want to sell stuff on their on their website and all that. They probably want to use AI to maximize their profits there and other ways. So yeah, I have no problem in thinking that Amazon could be, well, pretty crazy in AI too. Ultimately, I just want to know, what are your thoughts on this? Put it down in the comments. I've been Swip92. Have a great life, and I hope to see you in future videos. Bye bye.